Earlier on this year, I went through a bit of a rough patch. I ended up losing my job. Let me tell you, that'll make any strongman a little bit fearful. So I was with this organization for 7 years, prepared to dedicate the rest of my entire working life to this organization, but it just didn't work out that way. The reason I lost my job was due to, drum roll, corrupt politics. Yeah, big frickin' surprise there, huh? You know, I feel like a lion trapped in a cage. There's so much I want to say. There's so much I want to get out there. I want to share my story, but I'm afraid to. Reason being, if I say something, even if I'm totally within my legal rights to say so, there's a possibility that this organization could retaliate and sue me for whatever, some bogus claim, and then I would have to hire an attorney, and I mean, legal fees could potentially stack up really quick. And I'm just not made of money. You know, I'm blue-collar, hard-working American guy, and going up against a corporation with an endless supply of money and an entire legal team, I mean, it'd be like me going out to get slaughtered, pretty much. Unfortunately, that's how it is. My dad summed it up best. Anybody can sue anybody for anything. It's generally the people with the money and the power that come out on top. So, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to bite my tongue. I think that's the best course of action. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was looking at the house like, am I going to have to sell a house? Am I going to have to start selling my tools, the truck, free up some capital? But, you know, that's not the American spirit. The American spirit is to persevere and push on. And that's exactly what I did. I went on Indeed, applied for probably 150 jobs. I ended up finding this prevailing wage carpentry job. Jeez, I can't talk right now, but funny enough, I'm actually making more money at this job than I was at the previous job. I have to work a bit harder. I have less free time. You know, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm getting home at 5:30, 6 o'clock some days. So I'm lucky if I have enough time to shower, eat, go to bed. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that understand that. And also I have to pay for my own health care and pay for my own dental out of pocket. And if I don't go to work, I don't get paid. Don't get paid holidays, don't paid time off. So it is what it is. But you know, I feel stronger now, as funny as that sounds. I've been doing a lot of work at a hospital. There's a renovation going on at this hospital, and this hospital throws out a lot of good stuff. So I went into work one morning, and looking out by the dumpster, I spotted this light blue toolbox, and I started looking at it. Like, why are they throwing this thing out? It's in near perfect condition. The paint's fantastic. There's like no scratches. The make of this toolbox is a Harloff toolbox made in the USA. And I looked up this toolbox, and it goes for like $2,500 to $3,500. I have a relative who works in healthcare, and she said that this is a crash cart. So I guess if somebody is crashing where they need to be revived, I guess these carts generally carry the supplies to allow hospital staff to kind of revive the patient. But anyway, all I could find that was wrong with this cart was this bumper right here is a little bit cracked, and this caster, this stainless steel plate that this caster is bolted onto is bent. So it looks like the crash cart had a little crash. So sure enough, I loaded this in the back of the truck, brought it home, and just brought it up on the table here with the logging jib crane trailer. And I'm going to fix this up. I think this was a fantastic find. Definitely a good bit of luck and something that I really needed. So without further ado, let's start taking this piece apart and let's see if we can get this fixed up and rolling. The middle bolts here and here on this lower caster are missing. On the upper caster, you can see that they're still present. It's these two black bolts. So those are through bolted through this metal plate and this edge guard, and they're bolted directly into the box. And I peeked inside this little hole right here. It looks like there's a welded nut on the interior of the box. So these bolts just bolt on from the outside. That makes it easier. So I was sizing up the socket. Looks like it's going to take a 7/16 inch socket. But these black fastening bolts on the upper caster, they're loose. I didn't loosen these up at all. These were just hand loose. So looks like what happened, whoever assembled this box never tightened up these black bolts. They probably fell out of the slots right here, and I don't know, just caster got bent. So we're going to fix this up. First thing we need to do is remove these two black bolts, take this plate off, take the casters off the plate, and then we'll try and straighten out that plate. You know, I initially thought that this plate was stainless, but it's soft. This is actually aluminum. That's going to make this job much easier. First thing I'm thinking here, this edge, let's clamp this down. We'll straighten out this edge. Then as for this main bend, I'm thinking we'll take this over to the anvil and straighten this out the rest of the way. Now, it's been a few years since I've hammered anything on this anvil, but I'd say it's pretty darn good. I'll take it. So now let's move on to this edge guard. Now, I was initially thinking I was just going to leave it untouched, but I don't really like the idea of having, you know, sharp edges of plastic on the corners of the box, and it looks kind of bad. So here's what I'm thinking. Why don't we just flip this around? It won't have the same shape as the other side, but this side looks completely fine. It's soft, it's rolled over, so I'm thinking that's the best course of action. The only small issue which we're going to be able to correct this is that, see how this piece is a little bit lower than this edge, right? This edge is raised up maybe 2 or 3 mils, something like that. So if I were to put it on the box untouched, this side would be up just ever so slightly, which it probably wouldn't matter, but I want to try and do this right. So what I'm thinking, we'll draw a line here, draw a line here, and we'll cut this broken section off, and nobody will ever see that. Now we need to locate 2 more of these fasteners that through bolt everything to the bottom of the box. Now this box is made in America, so I'm hoping that these are not metric. Let's take out the handy dandy thread checker, give her a whirl. That's a good fit. I'm going to say they're 1/4 20. Let's see what we have in the bolt bin. So I don't have any fasteners that are an exact match. I do have these. These are just a little bit longer and they're stainless steel. So we'll give these a try. I think these will work out just fine. Let's try on that plate we just cut out. That's a nice fit. Looks much better than that cracked edge, huh? Let's assemble those casters back on that aluminum plate. All right, looking good. I'd say we are about ready to put this thing back together. At least ready to try. You know, I figured we should check the casters on the other side to make sure these bolts are tight while we're at it. That's pretty much it for the repair. Only took about a half hour. It's like nothing straightening out this piece of aluminum here. I think it was a really good decision to flip this edge guard around and cut out this section like we did. So now if there's ever children around, they're not going to be nicking their fingers on any sharp pieces of plastic. So the final thing to do now is just to give this thing a very thorough cleaning. You got to remember this was in the hospital. Who knows what was on it. So I'm just going to bleach the bejesus out of the bottom, probably move this cart over to the deck, and then I'll clean out the drawers and bleach everything. Just try and kill anything that's still alive on this cart. let's load her back up in the trailer. I built this ramp for my dog maybe about 2 years ago now when she tore her, it's kind of like the human equivalent of an ACL, and this is probably going to be perfect for wheeling this up into the house. So let's try and pick this up, roll it in.